Well, enough of you disliked my last video, so I felt it only fitting to make another one. Since I've spent the last 2 weeks in my bedroom playing Dota 2 and Nier Automata, I figured it was time to take a break from that and make some shitty YouTube content. So back in early March, before the US decided it should actually react to a global pandemic, myself and two of my friends, Alfred and Hannah, decided to take a little road trip through the southern United States. For this trip, I figured I might as well bring every single camera that I own because I figured if I took enough shots, I might actually get 1 or 2 good pictures. So to list off all the cameras, first off we have the Fujifilm GX683S, the medium format beast of a camera I did a review over back in January, which sparked some lovely discussion and even a response video of a guy claiming that it is actually the best medium format camera. He's wrong. Next up is my Intrepid Mark IV 4x5 large format camera. For lenses for this camera I have a Fujinon 180mm f5.6 and a Fujinon 90mm f8. I also have a complete lack of understanding of how it works, like I don't even know where the fuck the SD card goes. I'm joking, that was a joke. I know where it goes. It goes in the film holder. And to round things off with the film cameras, we have my 35mm Canon AE1 program, which my friend Alfred was using for the majority of the trip because it's super simple to use and doesn't cost $10 every single time you accidentally fuck up a shot because you forgot to close a shutter before you remove the dark slide. And for the digital cameras, I have my cute little Fujifilm X-T10 with a 7 Artesians 35mm f1.2 lens, which Hannah was using for the majority of the trip. And finally, my workhorse of the camera, the Fujifilm X-T2 with a 16mm by 55 f2.8 lens. This camera actually shit the bed on this trip because the focus selector switch down here stopped responding to inputs and got stuck in manual focus mode, which meant that I couldn't use autofocus anymore. That wasn't really surprising considering the fact that the number of times I've dropped this camera is in the double digits, so... I kinda treat my X-T2 like I'm a mother who purposely drank during pregnancy and only wanted to have a kid so he'd mow the lawn and work at Wendy's to help fund my Bailey's addiction. So we started off our trip by heading west out of the godforsaken state of Oklahoma, where I shit you not, there are more cows than people, in search of a place less flat and miserable. After leaving Oklahoma, we arrived in New Mexico, which was less flat but still pretty miserable. But we soon left lesser Mexico in order to arrive in the place where every Instagram photographer wished they could always be. And no, I'm not talking about the light poles outside of LACMA. I'm talking about Colorado. Look at all these fucking W's taking pictures of the sign. Parents. Oh no!
What?
Palm trees.
No, not that. God damn it, not that. That fucking big rock. Like, that's so cool. The rocks are fucking giants. Holy fucking shit, look at that! So fucking big!
This is also the first time Alfie had ever seen mountains in his life, so he was just mentally blown away by the fact that the earth isn't flat.
Holy fucking shit, those are so big. Holy fucking shit.
Our first destination in Colorado was the Great Sand Dunes National Park, which is unironically probably one of the most beautiful places I've ever been in my entire life. But that car is 100% just fucking stopped. I'm with you, Silverado. I'm with you.
Lead the way, Silverado.
For the sand dunes, I figured I was going to try out the Intrepid Mark IV with some Velvia 100 and Ilford HP5. And Alfred had the Canon AE1P with some Portra 400 loaded up as we headed out into the dunes.
What the fuck?
So after reaching the top of the dunes, I decided against any judgment to set up my intrepid 4x5 in the windiest and sandiest environment possible. Shutter closed. Shutter is closed. So all the black and white pictures in this trip got like triple exposed accidentally because I don't know what I'm doing, but it's fine. The only usable shot from the sand dunes from the 4x5 actually ended up being that one shot on Velvia 100, which actually has a shit ton of scratches and marks on it because of the fact that the film holder got full of sand while we were up there. Who could have seen that one coming? Although thankfully I was able to fix the scam by using the spot removal tool about 100 times until Lightroom stopped working. I'm gonna go ahead and throw up a few shots of the same place back when I was here in December, although that was when I only had the Fuji GX683S and I hauled that fucking thing up a 700 foot tall sand dune. After I got done ruining some sheet foam, we decided to head back down because we were tired of being physically assaulted by wind and sand. We stayed the night in Alamosa, Colorado, and the next day decided to head out and try to hike a mountain in the Sangre de Cristo range. Are we actually going to do it this time? Yeah. Okay, cool. We made it to the trailhead.
The hike to South Crestone has spectacular views of the San Luis Valley. The lake is situated just below Mount Adams. The hike is considered difficult as it rises from 9,000 and ends at 12,000, but can be completed within a day.
After we made our way to the trailhead, I actually managed to find my name on the sign-in sheet back when I did the same hike back in December, which was pretty cool. We then proceeded to spend the next few hours trying to climb up 1,500 feet of mountain.
Hello.
Holy shit.
I don't believe Strava there, so...
Strava is also fucking wrong a lot of the time.
Yeah. I mean, I believe it wasn't all trails, but... no. There's the valley down there. All the way down there. We're all the way the fuck up here. What does Hannah say?
Hannah says when the wind shifts, I swear I can hear Kyle's laugh. It's creepy. You can tell something fire there.
Where you see us stopped right here on the trail is where I stopped back in December when I did this hike with my friend Clark and the Fuji GX680. So I'm gonna go and throw up a few pictures from whenever I stopped here and took some photos with the GX680 after hauling it up literally 1,500 feet in 6 feet of snow. There you go.
Yep.
Glad you can just cut all this shit out.
Do what?
So I'm glad you can just cut a lot of this shit out.
Nah, I'll probably sleep in because I'm lazy.
Wow. Yeah, you have like 5 hours of footage to go through.
Oh. Portra 400 because I'm a fucking basic bitch. I like to spend a lot of money on my 35mm film. I should buy Velvia 100 for this, oh my god. That's like $18 a roll. We have to tape down the fucking film winder lever because it's broken. Probably just wasted a fucking slide through theirs. Here you go, babe. Again, the light meter doesn't match what the digital camera says, but we'll try it anyway. We'll try with the light meter once, and then I don't think we're gonna meter these shots, or we're gonna bracket these shots. I doubt it. 3. Okay. Dark side out. It's sandy because of the fucking dunes last night. 3, 2, 1. So the 4x5 shots aren't like necessarily bad, they're just not super stellar. I'm using Velvia 100 and I honestly don't know how to fucking meter for it. That's like a mystery film to me. And here's some comparison shots of when I was back here in the same place in September of 2019, when it was much more green and pretty. Bro, my fucking leg is shaking. Although what do I know? I only have... I think I have more Instagram Instagram followers on the RTC account I moderate than I do on my personal one. Get fucked!
I really want that to be cut into this video.
After failing our hike, we decided to head back down the mountain and slowly start heading towards Durango, stopping multiple times so I could take pictures of hay bales. Fun fact, hay bales in Oklahoma are typically always round, so seeing these square hay bales in Colorado was honestly the most exciting part of this trip for me. My feeble Oklahoma mind was absolutely blown. So after staying the night in Durango, we decided to head north through the San Juan Mountains to try to attempt another trail. However, our plans are foiled by the fact that whenever we reached the trailhead, the snow was literally taller than my Honda Fit. So we decided to say fuck it and start heading towards Monument Valley, while discussing our government's inability to respond to a global pandemic. We also stopped to take a bunch of pictures. So we got to the fucking trailhead, and turns out it's just fucking 6 feet of snow.
I say we should do
that.
it.
Is like where the road is supposed to be, basically.
Yeah.
It's just snow.
Personally, I think it's a great idea.
I think we should eat ourselves to Monument Valley.
That's what I think we're doing.
And await the announcement from Mr. DJT for whether the fucking country's gonna shut down in like 2 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, we're like less than an hour now, so.
Oh god. This is
Here we
fun
go,
though.
Red Mountain Alpine.
Look how fucking... God, the snow is so tall here.
Holy fuck! Look at that.
Yeah.
That is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
I would definitely eat shit. Like, I'm okay at speed. Like, I drive motorcycle. This is like a fucking left. Oh god. Left 2 into right 3 into left 3.
Look at the sign! Look at the fucking sign! It's like, hey bud, just a heads up.
You're turning, bro. Okay, let's see if I can get it. There we go. Focus. This is the eastern end of the Idaho mine. 100 miles of underground tunnels. They would enter here. They would enter here and ride the Treasury Tunnel underground tram to their workstation.
Fucking terrifying sound. I'm trying to fucking take a picture of that, like, mining thing.
Yeah,
over
the
there.
fucking other mining.
The thing is literally the fucking... That's like the perfect center frame
Oh yeah.
image ever. Although we gotta kick it down 100 ISO.
Honda Fit, dude.
Fit life.
Let's see. I need to fucking step over so I can actually get you.
3, 2, 1.
Look at that.
Okay, fuck it. That's it.
Okay.
You feel it has like a certain amount of like pressure on it?
Yeah.
Tell me when it like fucking frees up a little bit. Keep pointing it. Ooh, maybe we should stop up here?
Maybe, yeah.
Life elevated.
Land of the Mormons.
So after driving through 3 different bio changes in Minecraft, we finally reached this giant mesa thing in southern Utah that overlooks Monument Valley, and it was time for me to ruin some more Velvia 100. So I think I actually got a few good shots this time. This one I took in the GX680 with some Velvia 100 I actually really like. It's got those Velvia colors I've really been looking for. I'm sure if I was scanning with more than just my Fuji X-T2 and a light board, I can get some crazy detail out of this, but sadly I don't have any neighbors with Epson scanners I can beat up and steal from. Anyways, the sun started to set and we headed down to the Valley of the Gods to stay the night. I set up my Fuji X-T2 with the 35mm 1.2 lens on it to try to take a good nighttime lapse, but some clouds rolled in about an hour after I went to sleep and completely ruined the time lapse. So here's a time lapse I took at the same place about 2 years ago. It's much better. For those who don't know, Valley of the Gods is like a smaller version of Monument Valley that you don't have to pay to drive through, so that's really cool. And honestly, the rock formations are still enormous. Like, just look at this rock formation. It literally looks like a god. I would worship the fuck out of this thing. So we woke up the next morning and decided to head west to see if there's any destiny left to manifest. There wasn't. We managed to make it to Lake Powell, Utah by noon, and got some pizza and socially distanced ourselves out by the Glen Canyon Dam. It's like the discount version of the Hoover Dam, but holy shit, is it still huge.
It's not fucking broken. Just a switch for it's broke, so of course the camera got stuck in manual focus mode.
After consuming our corporate food product, we decided to head out and look for a slot canyon that didn't cost $60 to walk through. Looking at you, Antelope Canyon. Anyways, that place is already like shot to death by photographers, so shot to death by photographers. Brutal. We also stopped by this like public gun range that was just on the side of the road in the middle of Utah, which is pretty cool. This old dude there helped me sight in my 7mm by 08 Remington, which I brought with me just in case we ran into anyone with differing opinions, or like any bears. After shooting at the side of a mountain for an hour, we decided to finally find the trailhead for the slot canyon. Hannah didn't want to go because she didn't feel like recreating 127 hours, so we left her in the car with the windows down and 40 bags of trail mix. She didn't make it. That's the slot canyon we just went through. If I fall, I am just dead.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god. The rock is moving. Oh. Two, one. Yeah, you're good. Oh. The ground just disappears underneath us. Like, oh fuck. Oh, I'm gonna get a picture of this.
I forgot about this.
Yeah, this is fucking cool. After getting pinned underneath a rock and having to cut off my own arm with a broken piece of ground glass from my Fuji GX680, we decided to head back to the car and keep heading west towards Zion. About an hour before sunset, we made it to Zion National Park, which is honestly the only other national park I've been to besides Great Sand Dunes, so I didn't really know what I was expecting. It just wasn't the enormous mountains and cliffs that we encountered. It was also really fucking beautiful.
Holy fucking shit. That's awesome. Dude, I had no idea that this is what Zion was. What the fuck?
No, right?
This is like some Theodore Roosevelt shit. Like he would have came out here and been like, this makes a man. And then he would have fucking like just like scaled that with his hands.
Slate them out somehow.
Yeah.
I had 2 sheets of Portra 400 loaded up for my 4x5 because I was tired of the unforgiving nature of Velvia 100, and holy shit was I glad I had the Portra. These 2 shots aren't really exactly where I want them to be in terms of the color rendition, but I mean, I don't really know how to use Negative Lab Pro, so I guess that's as good as they're gonna get for now.
The mountains look like scoops of ice cream.
After heading through this long-ass tunnel and into the valley itself, we decided to stop and take a few more photos. And at the bottom of the valley on this bridge, I noticed a bunch of other photographers set up trying to take the dopest sunset shot. So I knew what I had to do. That's right, I decided to post up with my Fuji GX680 3S and flex my camera clout. Is that how people talk? But alas, the beautiful sunset everyone was hoping for didn't actually happen. Or maybe it did and I just don't know how to meter a fucking shot. It's probably the metering thing. The fuck is an ISO? So after getting done at Zion, we decided it's probably a good idea to just drive the 17 hours straight back to Oklahoma because of the whole pandemic thing that was constantly evolving around us. So we drove back to our sorry ass state of Oklahoma and started our 2-week quarantine with only 2 handles of New Amsterdam vodka. I ran out of vodka in 4 days. So yeah, overall I'd say it was a pretty good and productive trip, considering I finally learned that I'm too stupid to shoot Velvia 100. All jokes aside, I realized I kind of need to just get a little bit better with metering my shots and understanding how Velvia reacts to different kinds of light. It's still my favorite film, honestly. I just had more success shooting portraits on it than I have shooting actual landscape shots. Anyways, thanks for watching the video. More videos soon, or maybe not, I don't know. Just depends on whether or not I get more dislikes on this video than likes. Pretty much the only thing driving me at this point is the disappointment people have in the content I create, so... I'll make a video of this nasty green-skinned RB67 I just bought. Who knows? Maybe we'll put some desert tan leather on it, make it all tactical and shit.